ago, and I think I could speak for everyone who knew Larry to say he was one of a kind. He was a guy that had just a very interesting personality, and I find him to always be a kind, gentle man, someone who was very likable. I've known him for many, many years, and just saddened me. And I know his wife, Cheryl, and Larry had just this amazing relationship. I used to stay in close touch with them over the last few years when they had some challenging times. And I was just, sometimes people leave before their time, and Larry certainly did. So he was a friend. We'll talk more. We're going to properly honor him. But I'm sorry for all the loss for members of the House of Delegates as well. Okay, today we're here for a very important reason. We are making progress on reducing taxes for everyday West Virginians. How about that? That's what I see the finance chair, Jason Barrett. These are his bills. Let's give a round of applause for Jason Barrett. Look, every year, West Virginia looks to see what changes happen on the federal level and decide whether it will come into conformity with federal tax code provisions. And obviously, last year, well, there were a lot of changes to the federal law. You know that President Trump had a lot of significant modifications in his working families tax plan. We think that tax plan is going to lead to some phenomenal results for West Virginia. And I've been very supportive of those tax provisions because I think they're going to help businesses. They're going to help everyday families. You know, President Trump worked to reduce income tax rates, and President Trump worked to help small businesses succeed. Well, today we take the first step in what President Trump was trying to do by conforming West Virginia code to those federal provisions. All of the permanent provisions, maybe with a slight exception or two, are going to be incorporated into West Virginia code. Here's what that means. You're going to get the full benefit of federal tax relief without the confusion, the duplication, and anything left behind. You want to, when you're doing your taxes, have similar interpretations as much as you can. Now, for the average West Virginia family, that means when you give to your church, your local food bank, we know how many people gave to that last year, very important, or school fundraiser, you're now able to deduct up to $1,000 if you file single, or $2,000 if you file jointly. We know that we're working to encourage generosity, so when people give, they should not be penalized for it. The conforming bill also enhances the child and dependent care credit. I think that's going to help in West Virginia. Child care costs are real. Anyone raising a family knows that. Beginning in tax year 2026, the minimum credit increases from 35% to 50% for qualifying expenses. What does that mean? Well, for working parents trying to balance a job and raise kids, that's 15% more they can get. That's significant. There are a lot of other changes as well. The flexible spending account limits for child care go from $5,000 to $7,500. But this is also going to help us with respect to jobs and growth. For businesses, this legislation restores 100% bonus depreciation for new equipment and qualified property. That's big for West Virginia. That means if a company wants to expand, buy new machinery, modernize operations, then they could deduct those investments immediately. That's going to encourage companies to grow here. We're also restoring full expensing of domestic research and development, and that includes software development. If a business is innovating in West Virginia, we want to encourage it, not penalize it. Finally, we're also expanding the business interest deduction, increasing small business investment expensing to $2.5 million, and creating temporary 100% depreciation for new manufacturing facilities built here in the United States. if you build it here, if you manufacture it here, if you create jobs here, West Virginia's tax code is going to support you. Now, all this matters because economic growth is not abstract. So this is a good bill. This is going to help move the needle here in West Virginia. And we know how important it is to expand businesses. When a manufacturing plant is built, families get paychecks. When innovation happens here instead of somewhere else, our kids have a reason to stay. And we're always looking for new reasons to keep kids here in the Mountain State. So I'm excited about today's bill. We're aligning our tax code with policies that reward work, investment, and which strengthen communities. And we're doing it the right way. Now, let me say that all states are not following this lead. We know that in Pennsylvania, they opted not to. Other states are opting not to as well. You know what that gives us? A competitive advantage. That's what we're always looking for. What can we do that's better than the other states that we touch? When we do that, we're going to really succeed economically. This is going to mean more for your kids, going to help us raise our children more successfully, and create more jobs at home. I'm excited to sign this into law today, but I will say this. President Trump did a lot of good work to help incentivize businesses to really be produced in the U.S. But he also knew the importance of helping individuals with tax relief, lowering tax burdens on citizens. We need to do the same right here in the Mountain State. That's why I'm renewing my call for an across-the-board deduction in income tax. I still want to get to 10%. The Senate got to 10%. I'm telling you, I'm going to work with everyone, okay? I'm going to work with people. But it's unacceptable to have zero for the hardworking men and women of our state. And when I travel all across West Virginia, they say that. They say, how can you have a big surplus like that, Governor, and not even try to return money back? Well, we're trying, but we need the House to step forward. We need that. This is going to be a big issue in the next few months. I'm asking people to work with me, work with the Senate, work together to make this happen. We'll sit down in a room, we'll knock it out. I think we can make it happen. And then, West Virginia is truly in a position to reach its potential. Final point. Nothing will be more beneficial to address the affordability challenges in West Virginia than an across-the-board income tax cut. Nothing. If you care about affordability, this is your position. Second, if you want to compete more effectively, just like what we talked about with the conforming bill, with other states that we touch, then you know we need to reduce state income taxes. Pennsylvania, 3.07%. Kentucky, going down to 3.5%. Ohio, going down to 2.75%. What's West Virginia? High of 4.82%. One of these does not look like the others. We should not be an outlier. We need to get ahead. That's why I'm asking you, work with me. This is important. The citizens of West Virginia expect it. It's one of the most popular things as well. It's going to be beneficial when you go back home. I promise you that. And I'm going to be talking about it between now and through the end of the year, okay? So I want to thank all the legislators who are here today who supported this. Really means a lot. I'm grateful. When you do the right things, West Virginians have your back. And you did the right thing here, and I applaud you for that. Now let's collaborate on many other issues. We still have 13 days left to get big things done. I'm excited. There's room to make progress on education, on rural health authorization, on so many other different areas. But let's get that across-the-board income tax done as well. So with that, I'm going to sign these wonderful bills ceremoniously into law, and I want to say thank you for everyone who came here today. Any legislators want to come up here behind me? cover what you want to cover. This is the news, okay? No, I didn't say that. I'm optimistic that we're all going to come together to get it done because, well, no, we're going to talk about it because this is a big issue for the people of the state. No, I feel very good that we're going to be able to collaborate. And let me be clear. I was glad the Senate Finance Chair was here. I offered everyone the opportunity to come here today. And I want to work with everyone. What matters is putting the people first. And I think we have 13 days. There's no reason why we can't get it done very quickly, quite frankly. Yeah. Listen, we obviously, the role that West Virginia plays, it frequently has commitments overseas. I think as people know, I'm not always in a position to talk about the status, the various units, but we obviously are always working to make sure that we're helping to protect our troops wherever they may be. I'm watching and following very, very closely to see how this is going to impact West Virginia going forward. But, we do have people that have operated outside of the country. That happens all the time. So, but I'm not aware of anything I can report to you at this time. Yeah, a couple things. This conforms the Trump tax provisions to West Virginia code. That matters for a few reasons. They have all these different changes on business depreciation, help small businesses, on deductibility, on charitable contributions, on child care deductions. When you have differences between West Virginia tax law and U.S. tax law, there can be some confusion. And obviously there are also financial benefits when you do it the same, because if you have the same provision applying to both federal code and West Virginia code, you get the extra benefit of having those same policies applied, the extra positive economic effect. That's what you're seeing here today. So all those federal provisions that were put in place, now you have the conformity. West Virginia is doing the same thing. That's going to put more money back in people's pockets. But I also mentioned it's important that we have an income tax reduction because they also did that on the federal level, and we're still working to get ours here. Any other questions? Guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it.